What's up, everybody? Blessed be. My name is Manon, and you are watching Witch in the Working, where we will be discussing all things witchy in and around, throughout and about, above, below, and beyond. This video offers my personal views on the topic at hand. Please visit me on my other platforms as well, including Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon, all linked down in the description below. The full script to this video and most of the others is available on my Patreon account for download if desired to build your very own Witch in the Working Book of Shadows. Do you need help with a spell or fancy a tarot reading? Shoot on over to my store, Bewitching and Bizarre, linked down in the description below, for your personalized working and or reading. Angels have fascinated humans for thousands of years, whether we're talking about beautiful glowing beings with wings in religious paintings or mysterious messengers who show up in stories across cultures. Angels have always seemed to hold a special place in the spiritual world. But when it comes to the occult, those mystical practices that dive deep into the hidden corners of spirituality, angels take on even more interesting roles. They're not just passive watchers or protectors, they can also be powerful allies in magical work. Let's take a closer look at angels and see how they can and do incorporate into our magical practices. Roll intro. Welcome back, everyone. Most people think of angels as kind helpers who come from heaven to lend a hand when we're in trouble. That's not wrong, but it's just one part of the story. In the occult, angels are seen as forces of energy, beings that embody certain traits like protection, wisdom, healing, or justice. They're not always sweet or gentle either. Some angels are fierce and fiery, meant to guard sacred spaces or carry out justice. Think of them like cosmic superheroes with a variety of superpowers. In many traditions, angels are considered messengers. In fact, the word angel comes from the Greek word angelos, which means messenger. But in magical practices, they don't just deliver messages. They can also guide us, help us understand difficult spiritual ideas, or even lend us their energy to accomplish something in our lives. The occult is all about tapping into unseen forces to bring about change in the physical and spiritual world. Angels, being these incredible energetic beings, are like bridges between humans and the divine. They operate in a realm that's higher and more enlightened than ours, but they're also willing to work with us if we approach them the right way. For example, many magical practitioners believe that each angel has a specific job. There's an angel for healing, one for courage, and one for understanding mysteries, and so on. If you're working on a spell or ritual and you need help with something specific, you can call upon an angel to assist you. This isn't about commanding them, but forming a respectful partnership. Think of it like asking a friend who's really good with tax forms to help you, with your income taxes. They're happy to help if you ask nicely and show gratitude. One of the coolest things about angels in the occult is the idea of an angelic hierarchy. This is like a pyramid that organizes angels into different levels based on their power and purpose. At the top, you've got the seraphim, cherubim, and the thrones. Below these, down the pyramid, are archangels. These are the ones you've probably heard of, like Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. Each of these big-name angels has a unique role. Michael is the protector and warrior, Gabriel is the messenger, Raphael focuses on healing, and Uriel sheds light on mysteries. Each have their own job and energy. While it might sound complicated, the idea is simple. There's an angelic being suited to help with just about anything you could need. Understanding this hierarchy can make it easier to know who to reach out to when you're working with angelic energy in your practices. Angels communicate with humans in subtle but meaningful ways. Sometimes they appear in dreams, offering guidance or comfort. Other times they might send signs like repeated numbers. Ever seen 1111 on a clock? Or a feeling of warmth and peace when you're meditating. In occult practice, reaching out to angels often involves rituals, prayers, or meditative techniques. These help create a connection and invite the angel to lend their energy to whatever you're working on. But here's the thing. Working with angels isn't about just asking for stuff. It's about building a relationship. Think of it like building a bridge. Each time you approach angels with trust and respect, you're laying down sturdy planks. Gratitude acts as the nails that hold everything together, making the connection strong and reliable. Over time, you'll create a solid path that allows energy and understanding to flow freely between you and the angels. A lot of people think that working with angels is only for religious folks. That's not true. You don't have to follow a specific religion to connect with angels. They are universal beings, part of the greater spiritual fabric of the universe. Whether you're a Wiccan, pagan, or just someone curious about the mystical world, angels are open to working with anyone who appreciates them with respect. Angels are far older than the biblical texts that describe them, with roots that stretch deep into ancient mythology and spirituality. Long before they were named in religious scriptures, beings resembling angels appeared in the beliefs of early civilizations. In Mesopotamian, Babylonian, and Zoroastrian traditions, celestial messengers and protectors were seen as intermediaries between humans and the divine. These early depictions influenced the development of angelic figures in later Abrahamic religions. Over time, these ancient spiritual beings were adapted into more structured hierarchies and roles within texts like the Bible, but their origins remind us that angels are a timeless part of humanity's spiritual imagination, embodying universal ideas of guidance, protection, and divine connection. Another myth is that angels are always sweet and kind. While they do radiate love and peace, they can also be firm and commanding. This isn't a bad thing. It just shows that they're balanced and know when to be gentle and when to stand strong. Angels are like stars in the night sky. They're everywhere, and they've been part of human stories for as long as we've been telling them. As I mentioned earlier, what's really amazing is that angels don't belong to just one religion or culture. They show up in all kinds of traditions, each with their own spin on who these beings are and what they do. Ceremonial magicians, who are all about using precise rituals and symbols to work with spiritual forces, have a special relationship with angels. They often see angels as powerful forces that can help them connect with divine wisdom or bring balance to their lives. A lot of this comes from a magical system called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which sounds like the title of a fantasy novel, but is and was actually a real-life group of magicians. In ceremonial magic, angels are like guides who know the cosmic roadmap better than anyone. If a magician needs clarity or guidance, they might perform a ritual to call on an angel for help. But these rituals aren't about snapping your fingers and getting what you want. They're more like carefully dialing a spiritual phone number, making sure you're reaching out to the right energy. Now let's talk about the Kabbalah, a mystical tradition that comes from Judaism. In Kabbalah, angels are closely connected to something called the Tree of Life. This isn't a literal tree, but a symbolic one, with branches and roots representing different aspects of life, the universe, and everything in between. Each part of the Tree of Life has an angel associated with it. For example, Michael, the angel of protection, might represent strength, while Raphael, who's all about healing, is linked to mercy. People who practice Kabbalah often meditate or perform rituals to connect with these angels, using their energy to climb the tree toward a deeper understanding of the universe. Wiccans and modern witches have their own way of looking at angels. They don't always see them as beings that belong to any one religion. Instead, they see angels as universal forces that can work alongside gods, goddesses, ancestors, and nature spirits. In a Wiccan ritual, for example, someone might call on an angel for protection while also honoring the elements or a deity. It's all about weaving together different energies to create harmony. I personally use the 4 archangels every time I cast a circle. What's cool about this approach is that it's very flexible. Some witches might work with well-known angels like Gabriel or Uriel, while others might connect with less familiar ones they feel drawn to. In witchcraft, angels are just another way to tap into the vast network of spiritual energy that surrounds us. Did you know that angels aren't just a Western idea? They appear in all kinds of cultures around the world. In Islamic tradition, for example, angels like Jibril, Gabriel, play a big role in delivering messages from God. In Hinduism, beings called devas are somewhat similar to angels, acting as spiritual guides or protectors. Even in cultures that don't use the word angel, there are often stories about celestial beings who watch over humans or help maintain the balance of the universe. The names and details might change, but the idea is the same. There are forces out there that care about us and want to help us. Imagine you're in the middle of a tricky situation and you wish you could just ask someone for advice, someone who knows exactly what's going on behind the scenes. This is where angels come into play in the world of divination and spiritual communication. They're like trusted advisors who can provide guidance, clarity, and reassurance when you need it most. But how do they actually communicate with us? And how can we use divination tools to connect with them? Before we dive into angels, let's break down divination. Think of divination as a way of getting answers to your questions by tapping into the spiritual world. It's not about predicting the future like a crystal ball in a fairy tale. It's more like uncovering hidden truths or gaining insight into your life. People use all kinds of tools for divination, from tarot cards to runes to pendulums, and when you bring angels into the mix, things get even more fascinating. Angels aren't like people. They don't sit down and chat over coffee. Instead, they communicate in subtle, symbolic ways. For example, they might send you a specific number sequence like 444, which many believe is a sign of angelic protection. Or you might feel a sudden wave of calm when you're stressed, as though someone's wrapping you in a comforting hug. In divination, angels often speak through tools like cards or intuitive feelings. They're not there to dictate your decisions, but to offer gentle nudges in the right direction. Think of them as a spiritual GPS system. They won't take the wheel, but they'll help you stay on course. One of the most popular ways to connect with angels during divination is through tarot or oracle cards. Angel-themed decks are designed to help you tap into their wisdom. Each card usually represents an angelic message like courage, hope, or healing. Using these cards is pretty straightforward. You might shuffle the deck while focusing on a question, then draw a card to see what insight it offers. The card you pull isn't random. It's believed to be guided by the angels, delivering the message you need at that moment. What's great about angelic decks is that they're gentle and uplifting. Even if you're dealing with a tough question or a totally stressful situation, the messages often focus on encouragement and positivity. They're perfect for anyone looking for a bit of light in a challenging time. Not everyone needs tools to connect with angels. Some people have a natural ability to feel their presence or hear their guidance through intuition. This doesn't mean you'll hear a booming voice in your ear, but you might get a gut feeling or a thought that seems to come from outside yourself. Meditation is a great way to strengthen this connection. By sitting quietly and focusing on your breath, you create a space where angels can communicate with you. You might feel a warmth in your heart, see colors in your mind's eye, or even hear a soft inner voice offering advice. Another way angels connect with us is through dreams. When we're asleep, our minds are open to receiving messages we might miss during the busy chaos of the day. Angels can appear in dreams as symbols, people, or even feelings. For example, you might dream of flying with a glowing figure symbolizing freedom and support, or you might have a dream where an angel hands you an object like a key, which could represent unlocking new opportunities. Paying attention to these dreams and journaling about them can reveal deeper meanings over time. When working with angels, the key is to ask for their help. It doesn't have to be fancy or complicated. A simple, heartfelt request is enough. For example, you might say, "I'm feeling lost about what to do next. Can you guide me?" Then pay attention to signs, feelings, or thoughts that arise afterward. You can also create a small ritual to enhance your request. Lighting a candle, holding a crystal, and writing down your question can make the experience more personal and focused. The goal is to create a moment where you are fully present and open to receiving their guidance. Did you know there's another way to connect with angelic energy that doesn't involve imagining angels themselves? In fact, is ironic, or I wouldn't say ironic, as weird as it is, you do the same thing with demons when you are actually contacting demons. And it's, I think it's funny how these beings are supposedly at like an opposite of each other in everybody's most minds. And they are communicated with a lot of times in the same way. It's through angelic seals and rituals. These are tools and practices used in spiritual and magical work to tap into the unique energies of angels. Think of them as a spiritual code, like unlocking a secret door to wisdom and guidance. Let's dive in and explore what these are, how they work, and why people use them. Seals are traditional symbols associated with specific entities, such as angels, demons, or planetary forces. These symbols are believed to represent the true names or essences of these entities, granting the practitioner a means to summon or connect with them. Seals are typically found in historical grimoires and are considered to have inherent power due to their long-standing associations. Using seals isn't as complicated as it might sound. People often draw them on paper, carve them into candles, or even trace them in the air while focusing on their intent. I have a friend who actually commissioned a person to make, it wasn't for angels though, it was for the 72 demons. And he had a friend actually commission these little coins, and each one of the seals is carved into each coin. And whenever he's working with a specific demon, he simply pulls out that coin. What matters most is the energy and focus you bring to the process. It's not about being perfect, it's about being sincere. For instance, if someone is seeking courage, they might use the seal of an angel known for bravery. They could draw the seal on a piece of paper, hold it while meditating, and imagine themselves surrounded by the angel's protective energy. The seal acts as a kind of spiritual antenna, helping to tune into the angel's frequency. So rituals are like a recipe for connecting with angelic energy. They guide you step by step, but instead of ingredients like flour and sugar, you're working with symbols, words, and actions. Rituals give structure to your intention, making it easier to focus your energy and invite the angel's presence. An angelic ritual might involve, again, lighting candles, saying specific prayers, or using, seals or even sigils. For example, if someone wanted to connect with an angel of wisdom, their ritual might include writing a question on a piece of paper, placing it under a candle, and then drawing the angel's seal nearby. As the candle burns, they'd focus on their question, trusting the angel to guide them toward the answer. You might wonder why people go through all this effort when they could just, ask angels for help directly. The truth is, these tools and rituals aren't about making things harder. They're about creating a space where your mind and spirit are fully focused on your intention. Think of it like writing a letter versus sending a quick text. Both get the job done, but a letter takes more thought and care, which makes it feel more meaningful. In the same way, using seals and rituals adds depth and intention to your connection with angelic energy. While seals and rituals are powerful tools, it's important to remember they're just that, tools. The real magic comes from your intent and the relationship you build with angelic energy. You don't need to worry about doing it wrong or getting everything perfect. What matters is that you're putting your heart into it and trusting that the angels will meet you halfway. Angels are like legendary superheroes of the spiritual world. Each one has its own story, personality, and purpose, and they're known for stepping into human lives when they're needed most. While we've all heard of angels like Michael and Gabriel, their roles in the occult go way beyond the simple descriptions you might have picked up in Sunday school or in popular culture. When it comes to famous angels, the first names that usually pop up are the archangels like Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. These angels are kind of like the spiritual dream team, each specializing in a specific area. They're revered across multiple traditions, including Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, but they've also found a place in occult practices. Michael is often seen as the warrior angel, carrying a sword to protect against evil. But in the occult, Michael represents much more than physical protection. He's a symbol of courage and strength, helping people face their fears and overcome challenges. Many practitioners call on Michael when they need to stand up for themselves or make a bold move in life. Gabriel, known as the messenger angel, is the one you turn to when you need clarity or inspiration. In magical traditions, Gabriel's energy is associated with creativity and communication. Writers, artists, and even those trying to solve problems often seek Gabriel's guidance to help unlock their imagination or find the right words. If you ever felt the need for healing, whether it's physical, emotional, or even spiritual, Raphael is your go-to angel. In the occult, he's not just about curing sickness, but it's also about helping people find harmony and balance in their lives. Practitioners might call on Raphael during rituals focused on recovery or personal growth. Uriel is like the wise old friend who always has the answers, even when you don't want to hear them. In occult lore, Uriel is associated with enlightenment and understanding. People often work with Uriel when they're looking for insight into a complicated situation or trying to understand the bigger picture. Not all famous angels are the kind you'd want to invite over for tea. Some angels, known as fallen angels, have a more complicated reputation. These are angels who, according to legend, rebelled against divine authority and were cast out of heaven. The most well-known of these is Lucifer, whose name means lightbringer. While many people associate Lucifer with darkness and rebellion, some occult traditions, like Luciferianism, view him as a symbol of personal empowerment and the pursuit of knowledge. Other fallen angels, like Azazel, are believed to have shared knowledge with humanity, teaching us skills like crafting and understanding the stars. While these figures might not have the glowing reputation of the archangels, they're often seen as important forces in magical traditions, representing the idea that wisdom sometimes comes from unexpected or even uncomfortable sources. Have you ever felt like someone was watching over you in a good way? That might be your guardian angel. Unlike the archangels or fallen angels, guardian angels are unique to you. They're like your personal cosmic ally, always nearby to offer protection and guidance. In occult practices, some people try to connect directly with their guardian angel to form a stronger bond. This can involve meditation, dream work, or rituals designed to reveal the angel's name or presence. While guardian angels might not have famous names or epic stories, their significance lies in their deeply personal connection to the people they protect. When it comes to working with angels in magic, most people focus on the how. How do you connect with them? How do you ask for help? But there's another question that's just as important. Should you do it? That's where ethics come in. Ethics are like the rules or principles that guide our behavior, helping us figure out what's right and wrong. When working with spiritual beings like angels, having good ethics isn't just polite, it's essential. Imagine you're asking a favor from a friend. If you're pushy, demanding, or disrespectful, your friend might not feel like, helping you out. The same idea applies to angels. They're not vending machines where you press a button and get what you want. They're beings with their own purpose, energy, and wisdom. Approaching them with kindness and respect isn't just about being polite. It's about building a positive, meaningful connection. Working ethically with angels also protects you. When you approach angelic energy with good intentions, you're more likely to have a positive experience. If you're careless or selfish, you might find that your efforts backfire or feel hollow. Ethics are like a safety net, ensuring your spiritual practice is rooted in integrity. One of the most important rules in angelic magic is respecting free will, yours and others. Angels aren't here to control people or force outcomes. For example, let's say you're frustrated with someone and want to ask an angel to make them change their mind. That's not how it works. Instead, you could ask for guidance on how to handle the situation or for clarity on what to do next. When you ask for help from an angel, focus on what you can change, your own thoughts, actions, and perspective. Angels can guide you, but they won't interfere in ways that take away someone else's ability to choose. It's about working with their energy to create harmony, not manipulation. It's natural to want things like success, love, or healing, and angels are happy to help us with those goals. But when working with them, it's important to think about the bigger picture. Ask yourself, is what I'm asking for in alignment with the greater good? For example, if you're asking for help with a project, you might say, please help me focus and do my best. That's different from saying, please make sure I am extremely successful no matter what. The first request is about doing your part and asking for support. The second is about skipping the effort and demanding results. Angels work best when we're willing to meet them halfway, putting in effort and trusting their guidance. It's a lot like magic. Same thing. Anybody who does a spell, you just can't do the spell and then, like, for instance, to get a job and then just go sit around watching TV and hoping someone's going to call you. You've got to meet it halfway. One of the simplest but most powerful ethical principles is showing gratitude. When you work with angels, always take a moment to thank them for their help. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a heartfelt thank you or a small gesture like lighting a candle or writing a note of appreciation. All of this can go a really long way. Gratitude isn't just about saying thanks. It's about acknowledging the energy and wisdom angels bring into your life. It creates a positive cycle of giving and receiving, strengthening your connection with them over time. While angels are amazing spiritual allies, it's important not to rely on them for everything. Magic and spiritual growth are about finding your own strength and wisdom too. Think of angels as partners in your journey, not the ones doing all the work. For example, if you're facing a challenge, don't just ask an angel to fix it for you. Instead, ask for guidance on how to handle it yourself. This approach helps you grow and develop your own skills, with the angels acting as supportive presence rather than a crutch. Finally, remember that angels are not there to serve you. They're there to work with you. Approaching them with humility means recognizing their wisdom and power while also honoring your own role in the process. It's a partnership, not a hierarchy. Ethics might not sound as exciting as rituals or sigils, but they're the foundation of working with angels in a meaningful way. By respecting free will, balancing your desires with a higher purpose, and approaching angels with gratitude and humility, you can create a spiritual practice that's both powerful and positive. And the end, it's not just about what angels can do for you. It's about how you grow and evolve by working with them. Angels are more than just beautiful, glowing beings in stories. They're powerful and compassionate energies that can guide and inspire us in amazing ways. Whether we're working with their seals, asking for guidance and divination, or simply calling on them for strength, angels remind us that we're never alone in the universe. They're like spiritual partners, ready to help us grow, learn, and navigate life's twists and turns, as long as we approach them with respect and an open heart. By understanding their roles and significance, we can connect with them in ways that feel meaningful and empowering. But at the end of the day, working with angels isn't just about asking for help. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves. Angels encourage us to be brave, kind, and thoughtful, showing us how to find our inner strength while honoring the world around us. They are here to guide us, but they also teach us to trust our own wisdom and follow our own paths. So as you explore their energy and stories, remember this: the real magic lies not just in what angels can do for you, but in what they inspire you to do for yourself. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Witch in the Working. Do you work with angels? How have you worked with these beings? Let us all know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to ring that little bell to be reminded of wonderful and exciting future episodes to come. I love you guys and gals. Blessed be.